Alina Habba just threatened Special Prosecutor Jack Smith. And if anybody thought we're not going to see the weaponization of the Department of Justice by Donald Trump, think again. Michael Popok here on Legal AF, the YouTube channel, and I'm at the intersection talking about the new threat by Alina Habba, who always talks for her old boss, pseudo-boyfriend, Donald Trump. Now, let's talk about Jack Smith first. Jack Smith, special counsel, is going out of business. He's announced already to people around him that he's going to be wrapping up his report right now, that big mega report that he's going to deliver to Merrick Garland in both the Mar-a-Lago case and in the D.C. election interference case. He's got to do it by statute, by law. That's what the special counsel statute says. He's going to outline all the things that Donald Trump did wrong, all the crimes he committed, all the reasons he was prosecuted, and those around him. That will then be made public, we demand, by Merrick Garland before everybody leaves office and gets out of Dodge and the new Congress comes in on January 3rd. That's the target date. Put a big red circle on January 3rd on your calendar. That's when the new Congress comes in, then awaiting their president on the 20th of January. Now, we already know that the hunter is going to become the hunted. I've said that before. Jack Smith knows it. He's already got round-the-clock protection. And he'll continue to need it because MAGA says things like what Alina Habba just said today, which is you can resign, but you can't hide. We know what you did, and we're coming after you. Like, we know where you live, and we're coming to your house. Okay, Alina. Talk about the conductor of the crazy train. So Alina Habba's comments, of course, are inappropriate and there are still gag orders against Donald Trump from attacking people like Jack Smith and anybody around Donald Trump. And I would argue that Alina Habba is one such person. The case in front of Judge Chutkan has not been dismissed. There are gag orders there against exactly what Alina Habba just did. There's still a gag order in other places, like in New York, while we're awaiting the sentencing in the 34-count felony conviction, which is unlikely to happen. Now, what could happen next? Let's first start with the weaponization part. Everybody that represented Donald Trump successfully as a criminal defense lawyer or an appeal lawyer has just gotten a big fat promotion and plum job in his administration. These are all defense lawyers that fought off the big bad special counsel, and now they're going to be effectively his bosses, right? You've got, first time unprecedented, you've got Todd Blanche, who, along with Emile Beauvais, was the most successful criminal defense lawyer Donald Trump ever had. In all of his federal cases. And he lost in the 34-count felony conviction in New York, that's for sure. And he lost in other places as well. But he won where it mattered to Donald Trump in the federal cases in the District of Columbia and in the Mar-a-Lago case in front of Judge Cannon and in the appeal courts. He's just got rewarded, Todd Blanche, with I guess it's the bridesmaid prize. He wanted to be the bride. He wanted to be the attorney general, but he got deputy attorney general, the second highest spot, currently occupied by Lisa Monaco under Merrick Garland. However, as I've said before, if Matt Gaetz fails, his candidacy fails, and it is looking like it's on life support, then I think Todd Blanche just gets immediately elevated to the attorney general position, and there we have it. Right behind him is another criminal defense lawyer for Donald Trump, and Emile Beauvais as the first assistant to the deputy attorney general, and he'll move up to deputy attorney general if everybody moves up one spot, if Matt Gaetz goes down in flames. And we continue the train of people being rewarded for having represented Donald Trump as a criminal defense lawyer or otherwise. We've got John Sauer. John Sauer is the appellate lawyer, right-wing MAGA, anti-abortion, anti-woman lawyer, a Koch brothers special, a Leonard Leo Federalist Society special. But let's give credit where credit is due. He was successful before the MAGA Supreme Court on 2 occasions that benefited Donald Trump. He defeated the Colorado insurrectionist case in which Colorado and other states try to use the 14th Amendment to bounce Donald Trump from the ballot. Sauer was successful there, and he was also successful, of course, in the immunity decision to get Donald Trump immunity. We're going to send our first murderous criminal president, a candidate to the presidency because of John Sauer. He just got Solicitor General, which is the position that represents the United States of America in appellate matters up to the United States Supreme Court. And John Sauer has that position because of being a current criminal lawyer for Donald Trump. So for those that don't think we're going to see the weaponization of the Department of Justice and the lawyers around Donald Trump, look who he has. He's picked and tapped on the shoulder to be in place. Former criminal defense lawyers who are now been elevated and given this grandiose positions of authority and power over the people that were their prosecutors. The jailers, the jailed are now the jailers, and they're putting the prison guards into the jail. That's what we're watching. And it will continue. Stan Woodward, a MAGA lawyer representing a couple of the guys, the co-conspirators in the Mar-a-Lago case. He's up for a couple of big jobs, somewhere in law jobs or being an attorney within the administration. Maybe deputy White House counsel, something like that. That job is yet to be filled. And then another golf buddy, meat puppet, sort of feckless person in the first Trump administration, Jay Clayton, who headed his Securities and Exchange Commission and just bent over for anything related to Wall Street. He's now been given the plum position of being Donald Trump's personal prosecutor in the city of New York. He's now or at least in Manhattan, he's now the Manhattan Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney. It's the old job that Rudy Giuliani had 40 years ago. But, Donald Trump wants to sleep well at night if he goes home to New York, where Melania apparently is going to be living full-time. She's going to be a part-time first lady. And he doesn't want to be worried looking over his shoulder at the Southern District of New York. And I think, by the way, as long as we're on the Southern District of New York where I practice and the U.S. Attorney there, they're currently leading, along with the Eastern District of New York, a prosecution team against Mayor Adams. Mayor Adams is either going to get pardoned or at least these two prosecutions are going to get dropped against him because he's buddies with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump wants to help out a guy who also is accused of taking bribes from foreign countries. So this is all when we talk about weaponization, and you hear Donald Trump say out loud that he's appointing Matt Gaetz in order to avoid the weaponization, I'll just give you Popok speak and Popok translate. He's weaponizing. What else would you make of criminal defense lawyers of his being elevated to these top positions? Jay Clayton being given the Southern District of New York a U.S. attorney position. That's because Donald Trump doesn't want to be prosecuted in his own home state again. He'll drop the case against Mayor Adams. The Eastern District of New York, which is the other plum position in New York at the U.S. Attorney's Office, bring on peace. He'll drop out. He'll be replaced by another lackey. They'll drop the case against all the friends of Donald Trump, like Mayor Adams. And Alina Habba gets to say out loud, and how she's not in jail, I have no idea. But she gets to say out loud things like, "We're going to come to your house with pitchforks and torches, Jack Smith." This is what happens when 2 million Democrats decide to sit out democracy and don't go to the polls and vote. I got to do hot takes like this one. So what do we do about it? Well, first we got to, it's like a 12-step program. We got to acknowledge the problem. We got to say it out loud. We got to say its name. I do that here regularly on Legal AF and on the Midas Touch Network. And then we have to use our public voice in the public square with the Senate and the House to get them to cut off the confirmation process of a number of these people. Todd Blanche is going to get confirmed. He's relatively squeaky clean. I don't agree with his politics. I don't agree with things that he's said and done in court, but he's going to get through the confirmation process. So is Emile Beauvais. So is Solicitor General John Sauer. But Matt Gaetz, Tulsi Gabbard for the Director of National Intelligence, Pete Hegseth, the Fox News maybe sexual assault protagonist? No. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to run health and human services? I thought you have to believe in health and humans in order to have that job. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to continue to follow it. And how all the criminal lawyers for Donald Trump still on his payroll are just being kicked upstairs and running roughshod over the rule of law. Continue to do it right here on Legal AF. Take a minute. After hearing this, you got to know why we need you. Hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends and family. Bring other people here. Hit the subscribe button again. And we'll continue to grow this channel that we built just a few weeks before the election. And look how much we've grown. Over 320,000 people. 45,000 people have joined since the election alone because they know that Legal AF is the home of law and politics analysis and commentary like no other. There's 15 million people a month that see our work. I'm glad you're one of them. I'm Michael Popok, and I am reporting. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.